Tonight, I can report to the American people and to the world that the United States has conducted an operation that killed Osama bin Laden.
Where we continue to follow the capture and killing of Osama bin Laden now.
Those are just some of the scenes overnight as thousands of Americans gathered in celebration of Osama bin Laden's death.
Former Navy SEAL Rob O'Neill says he has thought about the mission every day since that May Day in 2011.
For multiple conversations you had with Rob O'Neill over the past year and a half, how'd you get
access? And you described that his head kind of exploded when you hit him.
I actually hit him 3 times because I shot him twice when he was standing and once on the ground.
That is the fucking American badass right there.
Go, go, go. We are not going for fame and we are not going for bravado. We are going for the single mom who dropped her kids off at elementary school on a Tuesday morning, and then 45 minutes later she jumped to her death out of a skyscraper.
If you need help, hang up and then dial your operator.
I'm Rob O'Neill, and this is the Operator Podcast. Welcome back to the Operator Podcast. I am your host, Robert J. O'Neill, and I want to hear your comments on all of these, especially now that I'm doing more interviews. I've been reading some of the comments, and someone said I'm an interrupter. Do I interrupt too much? I try to keep the flow going, and I don't want to talk too much, because if I get to thinking too much and talking too much, I talk too fast. I get yelled at for that too, among other things. But leave comments at the Operator Podcast on Instagram, at the Operator Podcast, or at Mchooyah, MCHOOYAH. The comments, because I do love them. I do take questions, and we've got a lot of interviews coming up, and you can tell me whether or not I talk over someone. Today is one where I'm not going to talk over, because I am going to have an interesting conversation with my friend and teammate, Daniel Corbett. Daniel Corbett, we knew him as Dirty Dan. I worked with him at SEAL Team 6. He was in Red Squadron with me, and his book is coming out called American Mercenary. And if you did a little Googling or a little bit of seeker stuff and you're trying to find it, he was on some missions with me. His book is coming out, American Mercenary. He did it the right way. He gave it to the Department of Defense, and they approved and disapproved certain things. So I'm not sure exactly what he can talk about or what I can talk about. We were on some of the same missions together, worked together a long time. He's a hell of a guy, fearless dude, just a shit-hot operator, positive attitude. And he did, once everything started to die down, he did get out, and then he went to prison in Serbia. So that's where the mercenary part comes in, and I'll let him get to that. But this will be episode 99 of the Operator Podcast, and we are going to get to it. I don't even think I have any notes. I know you. I worked with you a long time. I don't know if you can say SEAL Team 6, but I say it. But I worked with you for a while there. Did some fun stuff. But I want to give everyone a background. Obviously, Dirty Dan. People got to know why he's Dirty Dan. But can you give us a little background? How the whole Navy thing start up?
Yeah, I do say SEAL Team 6 because after I submitted my book to the Pentagon, I wasn't allowed to say the other thing. But you're allowed to say SEAL Team 6 now. So whatever, it changes. So SEAL Team 6, we're good. We cleared hot. Okay. They actually crossed that out of my book, The Operator, and The Way Forward. They crossed out the number 6. I don't know why. So maybe I can't say it, but everyone knows about it, I think. Yeah, I think so. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So the Navy story went like this. I was running cross country in high school, dabbling in some, mildly endurance sports compared to football. And there was a kid. I say kid, he was 21, who was the assistant cross-country coach that asked me what I was doing after I graduated high school. And I don't really come from a family of academics. When I was 16, I thought high school was going to last forever because it was awesome. I was like, oh, shit, like there's going to be something after this. Fuck. Which high school? It's called Galt High School. And that's where? Galt, California, about 30 minutes north of Lodi, 25 minutes south of Sacramento. Yes, right. Awesome. Yeah. So high school doesn't last forever. Do you have a plan to join the military? No. So that guy gave me the VHS History Channel tape that had the super cool voiceover of Navy SEALs. It was like in Vietnam, they had a 200-to-1 kill death ratio. and all this shit. And I was like, man, that's pretty fucking cool. And
That's
then
intense.
there was a scene, there was a scene where the interviewer asked the dude, he's like, hey, what makes you guys so good? And he just says, we're not that good. Everyone else just sucks. And I'm like, okay, we're good. Where do I sign up? So I went in the recruiter office, played the game, made sure I got everything I wanted. And then as an insurance policy against myself, I delayed entry at 17. So I didn't get sucked into, maybe I go to a JC, maybe I do a senior trip in Cabo and get in trouble. So I stepped in at 17, hit 18 the following year, graduated in June, and left for the Navy that July.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then obviously Great Lakes, Illinois. What was were you in at the time when they would start pipelining guys that were going to buds in their own divisions, or was that even a thing?
That wasn't a thing. We still had to go in. I still had to have an A school picked out. And I listened to Birdman's podcast and I picked the shortest one too, which is also parachute rigger right next to aviation ordnance. So I was like, they're like, oh, gunner's mate, it's guns. I'm like, okay, how long is it? They're like 6 months. I'm like, no, I want to get to the show as soon as I can.
I was a PR also. I picked it for the same reason. I was getting sucked in as a corpsman, and I lied to them. Whatever day of the Navy you go to the offices where they're picking a job, and I said, I don't know, I didn't join I joined to get buds, but also PR, which wasn't a thing, but they went for it, so that was good. Did you learn how to sew?
Oh, I still sew.
I love sewing. I think it's great.
I get down, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, I were on deployments, guys would bring me their pants, their cries with their buttons. I'm like, give me that.
Yeah, I got you.
Weddings, boom. Weddings, you bring your sewing kit.
Yeah,
like
you know
VIP.
what's gonna happen. You're sewing stuff up. What year did you graduate high school in?
02.
02. Okay, so you're fresh after 9/11, so you're kind of chomping at the bit. Don't need that gunner's mate shit.
Yeah, no thanks. Let's go to the show.
And then, what were your thoughts about Navy boot camp? Because everyone's got their own boot camp shit. I think Navy's is just a pain in the ass, really. Not hard.
It was bananas. First off, I had traveled a little bit as a kid growing up, and there was some kids in boot camp that clearly have not traveled.
Right. Yeah.
And they're like, you're from California. They think California is like 6 miles wide and all Redondo Beach up and down the whole coast.
Right.
I'm like, no, we got mountains. I come from a cow town. Had some Texas guys like, you ain't got no cows in California.
Of course, fucking Texas. Texas always pulls that shit. First guy I met in Bud's. The dude named Wade from Texas. And he said, where are you from? And I said, where are you from? Because he sounded like he was from the South. And he said, I'm from Texas. And I go, cool, I'm from Montana. He goes, Montana, what part of Texas is that? It's like, fuck off, dude. Dude, Texas are awesome, man. This episode of the Operator Podcast is brought to you by my friends at Mando. You've heard me talk about Mando before, and I can't talk about them enough. You ever work out just a little bit too hard? Get hit by a truckload of BO. When you're done, your deodorant's not quite up to snuff, or your 3-in-1 shampoo leaves you need another shower a couple hours after your first shower. From the founders of Lumi, Mando Whole Body Deodorant is helping men conquer their odor in a new way. I'm talking deodorant, all body deodorant. It's formulated with mandelic acid. Mando has long-lasting 72-hour odor control that actually stops odor before it starts. The best part is you can put Mando everywhere, all the way anywhere on your stank-ass body. I'm talking about anywhere. Top it off, Mando's cologne quality scents were created with men in mind. Pro tip, try their best-selling scent, Bourbon Leather. And I love the cleansing bars. I'd actually go with Mount Fuji. That's kind of my go-to. Once you experience this fresher underarms, a fresher package, your feet don't stank, and you'll never go back. So new customers, here's a special offer. Get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code and link. Use code THEOPERATOR at shopmando.com. shopmando.com. Like I said about the Mount Fuji, when I started wearing it, that deodorant and using the soap, my wife told me basically, don't use anything ever again. Just use this. Now I use Mando. I'm not going to switch to anything else. This is the scent of confidence. I've mentioned Zodiac ass before. You get that on the water. You don't need to, you do need to take my word. Don't go get it. It's horrible. But You can use Mando all over, anywhere. Safe to use anywhere. Like I said, pits, packages, all that stuff. It's created by a doctor who saw firsthand how normal BO was being misdiagnosed and mistreated. Mando whole body deodorant is powerful enough to take on the toughest odor, but gentle enough to use everywhere. It's safe because it's aluminum-free, baking soda-free, cruelty-free. It's dye-free. It's vegan. Clinically proven to control odor better than a shower with soap alone. 12 hours after a shower, the average man's taint odor is about a 5 out of 10. Speak for yourself. With Mando, the average grundle is 0 out of 10. Mando starter pack, like I said, it comes with solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, and 2 free products of your choice. I went with the mini body wash and the deodorant wipes. Free shipping. And I have a discount code to help you get hooked on my favorite smelling whole body deodorant on the market. New customers, like I said, $5 off starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack. Code theoperator at shopmando.com. shopmando.com. Code theoperator. It is time to smell better naked, and your partner will thank, well, hopefully you and me for it. Shopmando.com. Code theoperator.
No, it was cool. So, it was like just a bunch of dudes, open barracks, like 50 racks on one side, 50 racks on the other. And actually, Remy Adelike was in my boot camp.
He said that. I had him on my podcast.
That's where we became friends. Yeah. That's
yes,
where we first
Remy.
met.
He mentioned that to me. I think I interviewed him last January. Great episode. Fantastic guy. And he mentioned Dirty Dan. He asked me if I knew Dirty Dan Corbett. I was like, I know Dan Corbett. I know about Dan Corbett. Yes. Dan Corbett's the fucking man. A number of reasons. I remember hanging out with you in Butte, Montana during one of our skydiving trips up there. That was fun.
Evil Knievel days, baby.
We did that, didn't we? Wow.
Yeah.
We'll fast forward to that in a second, though. So, no, my impression of boot camp was because I was one of those dudes that just assumed someone from California would be faster, or someone from New York would be tougher. Didn't know that all of us, we're all pretty dumb. Like that guy said, it's like they just suck. Because I remember watching people that couldn't march, like couldn't figure out left comes after right. It's like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
But I did learn that gravy and Texas Pete is good on rice in the Navy boot camp.
Yeah, I learned a lot about putting hot sauce and everything in boot camp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you have to knock on the thing
south that were just I'm like, okay, I'll try that. It tastes like shit. Oh, this is better now.
It was just the silly cadence, and then I think the biggest pain in the ass was going to bed late and waking up at 2 a.m. and then just marching around and learning how to fold.
Yeah, my biggest pain in the ass thing was all the singing. It was fucking bananas. We'd go into the chow hall and like, mashed potatoes for my shipmate. I'm like, what the fuck? Just give my food, bro. Shut up. It was fucking bananas.
Shipmate is still my favorite word, I think. I think it's a term of endearment for anything. Or you're in trouble.
I think it's one of the most derogatory words.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to be a buds instructor just so I could bring shipmate back, but I never made it back. I never made it back to the West Coast. But getting called shipmate is like that's the scuttlebutt anyway. Navy shit. I've met Navy terms, man. They crack me up. When they're awesome. Because the scuttlebutt's obviously the water machine, but it's also rumors, which means someone was telling scuttlebutt next to the scuttlebutt, which is as far as I'm concerned, like the water cooler meeting. So boot camps, this and that. Was it cold or hot there?
It was fucking hot.
Yeah, summertime.
Hot and humid. Yeah, but
you went in July, of course. You just said that.
Here's the thing, though, as we'll find out later on. We talk about training and how we can shit. I hate being cold more than fucking anything. So hot, I'm fine with. Mm-hmm. So I was fine with it being hot and humid.
Yeah, I went through in January, and it was a point putting scarves and balaclavas and towels and shit wrap around you, and like the door broke when we're trying to go to the pool, so everybody gets frostbite or some bullshit. How about the screening test? Was that a piece? You were a swimmer though, right? You were a cross country runner and a swimmer.
I had dated a girl in high school who taught me how to swim. And it was very kind of her. And then after I learned how to swim, we quit dating. So you can do the math.
Yeah, I was gonna say, knowing you were definitely dating her too. That's just how it works.
No, it was cool. She's a good girl. She's doing good now.
Good for her.
Yeah, so I learned how to swim kind of last minute. Was always a runner, and my dad and I bought the power tower, or the tower of power for the backyard. It's the pull-up bar freestanding. On the other side,
Yes.
it has dip bars. So
Okay,
I mean,
yeah.
that in the backyard and swimming. So the screening test wasn't that hard. It was good.
What did she teach you, the breaststroke or side stroke or both?
Everything, because my swimming experience was my dad on a road trip, and I was like 7, threw me in a pool. He's like, all right, go. And I was like, okay. And I didn't really progress much from that until later in high school.
Yes. A lot of us seem to be that way too. Just learn. I was the breaststroke. I like that, but knowing what I know, then learn the breaststroke, swim with fins in the ocean. That's kind of what's going to happen. And then, so you passed that simple. Then you went to PRA school?
Yeah.
Cool.
PRA school. And I thought I was going to be in Miami because I hadn't been to Florida, and it was not Miami. It was Pensacola.
There's a difference.
Another culture shock. But I think that's when I recognized why the attrition rate was 85, 87%. Because everyone there was like, oh, I'm going to Buds. I'm going to be a SEAL.
Everybody was going to Buds.
Everybody was going to Buds. I was like, what? And then we'd go on a run and do pull-ups. I'm like, oh, that's why there's a high attrition rate. You guys could suck.
Yeah, when I went in there, and still small town mentality, sitting on those benches, the stadium seating at the pool, looking at 500 dudes that are all going to be Navy SEALs. And I remember thinking, like, well, what makes me so special? I'm probably not. Only dude that passed the goddamn thing. Everyone else failed. It's like, dude, I don't even know how to swim. You can't swim this far?
Yeah, I think people, I think the ignorance is bliss, right? Or not bliss, but it bites them in the ass. They don't know, like, oh, I've swum across the pool once. I'm going to be a SEAL. It's like, that's nothing. You have no idea what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah, and it turns out if you're not completely comfortable in water, they can really use it against you because,
oh man,
boy, you start to panic in the water when you're tied up. It doesn't get easier. I think sometimes it does pay to be dumb though. It's
yeah,
like, well, they're not going to kill me. I mean, you have guys that need CPR and whatnot, but it's not that bad. So
yeah, a little shallow water.
Yeah, come on. Who hasn't had a shallow water blackout? So
right, come on.
Finish up PR. Now, where it was in Pensacola, so you do have access to the pool there. You're obviously trained. Because I didn't find that you could do much physical stuff in boot camp.
No, and like you and Birdman were talking about, I'd go into the bathroom where you'd hang your clothes, grab the broomstick in boot camp, hang it over across the wires, and bang out pull-ups, and then get in trouble for working it. So I was like, well, I definitely regressed as far as fitness goes in boot camp. So when I was in Pensacola, I was like trying to get back to where I was, hitting it hard.
Yeah, good. And that's a couple of weeks, and then out to California, back home. Yeah. So what was it like there? You classed up with 244?
Now I checked in, and they said, hey, you will be in 245 unless you're down to class up in like 5 days. I said,
oh hell yeah,
let's go. Show me where supply is and get my shit. Let's do it.
Yeah, might as well, because that's now you're getting close to a winter hell week. That gets legit, right?
Yeah. The thing about winter hell weeks is what transpires after that, because diving is in March, which is cold. Then you're on the island in June, which is June gloom. So you kind of get fucked the whole way through.
Mm-hmm. What did you have any issues with any of the evolutions at Buds, or how did that? Because you've always had a really good attitude, so I don't see you getting rattled. But
that was my only issue. I was in the Smurf crew for about 4 days of Hell Week because of my attitude. They're like, "You having a fucking good time?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, do." Like, all right, motherfucker. And I'm sitting there like this for 3 days. Like, you had enough, and we won. My Smurf crew was awesome.
Smurf crew did. Smurf crew's not supposed to win anything.
Yeah, no, we crushed, and then they finally took me out. They're probably afraid I was going to break my neck. But no, as far as physical evolutions go, not really. I was nervous, though. One of our first runs, and I was a runner, like a legit runner.
What did you run in cross country? A 5K? 10K?
Yeah, 5K.
Pretty good times?
Yeah, not for Northern California. There's kids up there running 15s on all terrain. Sure. You're like, dude, what the fuck? Bro, get out of here. What are you doing?
So what happened? There was a run you didn't pass?
No, we were running our first run in phase, and I'm like running, and I'm like, oh fuck yeah, I'm good. And I'm like there's a front group, then there's a middle pack, which is like the biggest, and then you have like the guys that have fallen out. I was at the end of the middle pack, and I was kicking. And I'm like, oh my God, like I'm gonna fail. I'm gonna fail this first run. Come to find out,
the first run,
the
what
very
sucks?
first run, and I fucking do it, and my time was fantastic. Come to find out, my class had professional triathletes.
Oh yeah, those guys
They
are
had
badass.
college cross country runners. I'm like, oh, because I went from a small town of 25,000 people where if you did anything, you were a great athlete. Then I come here and
anything.
if you did anything. So I came out, to bus, and I see these guys just fucking flying, and I'm like, oh, but I was just in a really fast class, so it is what it is.
What were your times there? Because I remember a good time would be like for a 4-mile timer, like 22:30 is a good time, I think, wasn't it? 24. I don't remember. Yeah,
I don't remember.
I think because a 7.5. They weren't running a 7.5 minute mile, whatever.
Yeah,
So
I think it was like sub sevens the whole time. Yeah.
Then how were the swims? Because you're doing one swim a week, 1 2-mile time swim a week.
I passed them. I put the fuck out though. I wasn't the guy that had the technique that was like do and just crushed everybody. I was almost drowning the whole time.
Those just completely pissed me off. They could go out there and just looked like a land monster, but could swim like you read about. Their technique was so good. Doing it their whole life. Yeah. So Hell Week, I gotta ask about Hell Week. That's when you wake up on Sunday and you don't sleep until Friday. Essentially, what were your thoughts on like Breakout, the first evolution of Hell Week?
Well, first, I was kind of bummed it was happening that week because I'm a Raiders fan, and that weekend the Raiders were playing the Buccaneers in the Super Bowl in San Diego.
Oh shit!
And I was like, "Damn it! Like, when's this going to happen again?" And it hasn't. Raiders in the Super Bowl. So I was like, "Fuck." So I was like, "Oh man!" And, I had like all the fake IDs, and I could have done all the things. I was like working my way, building my little circles of influence downtown.
Oh, like, yeah. The networking.
Oh yeah. So I was like, fuck. Okay, I guess we're doing Hell Week at the same time the Raiders are in the Super Bowl in my city that I'm located at right now.
Yeah, right across the street here, basically.
Yeah. Right. Anyways, so I got over that.
And then was there any? Yeah, that's the hardest part of Hell Week. You're not having a bad Hell Week. Did anything? I mean, because that's it's an attitude thing. You just realize you're going to be awake for a long, long time. All you got to really do is keep moving.
Yeah, I was kind of more of like the 70%, 100% of the time. Right, these guys who try to give 100%, 100% of the time, you're not going to make it, bro. No, it's impossible.
You got to take a wrap off. Someone's got to steer the boat.
Yeah, dude, it's a marathon, bro. But I watched all the videos, and I think I even like snuck around when someone I knew was going through and like heard it from a distance when I was in high school. So I was pretty excited for it. I can say I knew a little bit more than others of what we were getting into, but obviously you don't know what it is until you're there, and the flashbangs are going off, and the fucking M60s are just fucking and you're just chaos. And you're like,
that was cool.
It was cool. It was fun.
I like that too. I was talking to Birdman last week too, saying how I started getting the vibe that it's kind of just a game because all the families that are up on the rooftops watching the Buds guys get beat up during Hell Week, and it's like they're just. I mean, these are good. These guys are going to work their 8-hour shift, go home, sleep, come back, work for 8 more hours, and that's it. It was cold. It sucked. I didn't think Steel Pier was as bad as everyone says it is. It's like that. It's just cold.
Yeah. For me, it is because I hate being cold, and I think my core temp is always like around 97.7, 97.5. So I think that 1 degree temperature I feel when I'm in the cold water. Just let me get to 98.5 and I'll be better. I think my biggest thing in Hell Week was when we'd be on the beach and I'd look to the east because you want to catch the sun coming up. If you can see the sun coming up, you're good. Like, okay, boom, I made it. That night's in the bag. Yeah. Well, I'd look to the east and I'd see light, and I'm like, oh shit, that's the sun. And it's not. It was just all the pier lights at 32nd Street. Mm-hmm. And you come to find out it's like 2 a.m. It's 2 a.m. Even that mind fuck, you're like, oh, the sun's coming up soon. No, we got 4 more hours.
The mind fucks were really good. One of my favorites. They pulled the shit in Green Team too. where you get the fast instructor who's running you, and then you whatever run this way, and then you're coming back to the base, and they just run right in front of the base, and they keep going. It's like, oh, mind fuck, we're gonna keep running soft sand, whatever.
Yeah.
And I thought I was a pretty good runner too. Growing up in Montana at about 5,000 feet, I had some good lungs. I think my issue with Hell Week was eating too much, because they give you a lot of time in there, like knock down 4 cheeseburgers or whatever, and then you got to go run some more with boats on your heads. But it is what it is. How many guys did you start with? How many did you finish with Hell Week?
I don't know how many we started Hell Week with. I know we started Indoc with like 265, like something fucking crazy.
That's ridiculous.
It was just ridiculous. I think we got through Hell Week with like 33 dudes. Yeah.
That's about right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I liked it because it was because the instructor's always telling you, well, you don't even deserve to be here. You're never going to make it, blah, blah, blah. But you get through Hell Week, and one of its instructors said, when you make it to your platoon, which most of you will because you made it through Hell Week, it's like, oh shit, okay, that's cool. Still got more stuff to do.
A little shift in the mentality there at post Hell Week.
A little bit, but see, I think Hell Week's kind of a rush to get through, because what doesn't get talked about that sucks balls is hydrographic reconnaissance. That 2 weeks after Hell Week, because one of them's a walk week. You get a walk after Hell Week, which is pleasant, because you're so beat down and you don't have not even a swim that week. And then you get into they're teaching hydro recon. And I remember, like, because the water tortures you. And like, I've been with you before in places like Iraq where we marched, 3 miles out of the way just to not get our boots wet. Because I don't like getting wet anymore. Like, well, aren't you a Navy SEAL? Yeah, but it sucks, man. Like, everything looks cool. But yeah, we were all standing in front of the water looking at it. This is going to be our first swim after Hell Week, and instructor Eshelman came walking by, and he just goes, "First time in the water since Hell Week. Kind of spooky, huh?" It's like, fuck, yes, funny. It is. Yeah. But the hydro recon, you strike me as someone who was probably the bitter end man or something, swimming that shit all the way out. Or are you just a sled dog?
I'm pretty selfless and all about taking the hard jobs, but when it came to the water, I was trying to be on the beach as much as I could.
Yeah.
I think I was waist deep. I was the waist deep guy.
Waist deep guy. That's not a bad game.
I was like 3 in from the beach guy, but I wanted to be the guy on the beach.
Yeah, I want to be the guy.
Yeah, I want to be that. Yeah, just wait for stupid fucking shit.
Yeah, we did a live one. I did a real world real world hydrographic reconnaissance in Liberia. Jesus. It's like, well, this is old school. I think we had fathometers for a change, but we still have the lead lines too. Yeah, good shit. So you do that hydro recon, dive phase, paint your helmet. What'd you think of dive phase?
That was a killer, man. I had tubes in my ears as a kid, constant ear infections. So when I get in the water, my timer starts, especially if I'm underwater diving.
Yeah.
And rebreathing. I get the squeaks and the valves start going. I get reverse squeezes. It fucking sucked.
Yeah, that's tough
diving
too.
itself fucking sucks for me. It still does.
It still sucks?
I say I don't know, because I refuse to go do it. I would imagine it still does.
Yeah. So you're not scuba diving on your leisure time?
No, I'll pass.
I like that. It's kind of relaxing when they're not beating that shit out of you, because Navy, man, we made everything suck.
Oh yeah.
But like, the skydiving is actually fun.
Yeah, I never heard of that. Yeah.
So the diving's bad. That's crazy though, getting through with the squeezes like that, because those are long dives. Because they're making sure you're getting we're getting 4 hours of bottom time a day, pretty much during dive phase, I think. And then
unless you figure out how to breathe down your bag really fast and be like, the thing reads below what you said.
Yeah.
Right. You can breathe it down. You can game it a little bit.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, but then you have to go and redo it until you finish what you're supposed to do. So pick your poison.
Yeah.
Do you want to do it now, or do you want to do it later?
Pay me now or pay me later. I don't really care. Yeah. That's funny. So then third phase, the island. Again, I think the island gets talked over just because it's the end. But I thought the island was hard.
The island was super hard. And at the time, I don't know if you know Tom Shea.
I do.
Tom Shea was our instructor, and he was getting ready for Eco Challenge.
Yes, he was.
Like the real Eco Challenge. And we fucking rocked. across that entire island. I don't know how many times.
Oh, because he's getting ready, so he's taking.
Getting ready for his race. So we
What a
just got
prick. That's so awesome.
We
Good
got
for
the
him.
shit kicked out of us.
Because the island, so the island is, just for people who don't know, the island is the last part of Hell Week. I think it's 40 straight days, no days off. A lot of running, a lot of wet and sandy every hour, on the hour, Frog Hill. A lot of shooting though. We were shooting a lot. That was I think it was the first time we got to use that M60, which I fell in love with right away.
That was the coolest thing because it was 4 months prior. You're doing kind of like frogman stuff. You're in the water, you're doing hydro recons, you're doing the cargo net and the slide for life. So you feel kind of commando-y, but then you get to the island and you're like, one's base, two's back. You're like, oh shit, tactics, like, ooh, and you get a gun. You're like, wow, we're really doing it. So it starts to feel more like, oh shit, like I'm gonna be a little commando guy.
That was my concern is now shit. We get done with this, I got to be a Navy SEAL. I'm not exactly sure what they do.
Yeah,
I thought the demo was fun. I still am impressed that I was able in my pea brain to calculate time fuse for a non-electric blast. That was kind of cool the way they taught us, and it makes sense if you think about it. But what was it like? Plus or minus 5 seconds, and you fail, and it's so wet and sandy, whatever.
Yeah, demo was cool too, and I remember they had those little booby traps that came in. It looks like a Copenhagen tin, and you unscrew it, and it has pressure release, tension release, and you set them around the O course with just the blasting cap. Yeah, so I mean, that was when we were doing like cool bombs, guns, movements, and it was fun. But the day-to-day was a grind, and the workouts were just
and the instructors have nowhere to go except that there's a bar out there somewhere because the Buds compound is across from the West Coast compound. And that, again, the difference in you will have a good time if you're at SEAL Team 1 and you go out here for an island trip. You're not going to have fun as a Bud student. As an instructor, you might get bored and you might have too many cocktails and you can go beat the shit out of the students, which I know happens. I
think the bar is called the Salty Crab.
It is the Salty Crab. That's right.
The Salty Crab. And there's a bowling alley in the basement of it.
I've been in there one time. I remember that. We went out there for a trip when I was at SEAL Team 2, my first platoon. And boy, that water's beautiful out there, though. Cold, but beautiful.
Yeah.
And that's in between San Clemente and San Catalina is proof that you are not on the menu for great whites, because if they wanted to, they could eat a lot of Bud students out there, but they don't.
Oh yeah.
I think it's because the water's so clear too. That's one of the things too. One of my gigs is diving with apex predators, and if they can see you, you're good. And if you don't act like an asshole, that you're good. But if you run into a bull shark, you might not be good because they're assholes.
Yeah,
so that's that. So, but then you do they give you your dream sheet, which team you want to go to on the island, and they tell you where you're going, or how'd that work?
Yeah, I picked SEAL Team 5, and then in order, it didn't matter. The rest was West Coast.
Yes.
I was like 5, and then anything else West Coast.
And that's what they told us too. Pick when I went through, it was a 2, 4, and 8. We're on the East Coast. I wanted to go to East Coast, so I picked 2, 4, and 8 just to get out there because
so
the only thing happening is Bosnia, and we're never going to be in another war again. So you might as well get it while you can.
Yeah. So I got lucky. I got picked, and the craziest thing about my class was all the dudes that were like 6'4", 240, they all got sent to SDVs, and I'm like,
oh shit!
All of them, like 4 of our biggest dudes, all got sent to SDV.
Why do they do that to those big guys?
I have no fucking clue, man. I don't know.
I've got some issues with it. I've never been in an SDV, so I shouldn't be critical. I had Will Branham on here. He's a big time SDV guy. He told me about it, and I've seen him obviously, but never been in them. But boy, they get a raw deal. I've always wondered, why do you need to simulate a 10-hour dive, like just sitting in the back of a trunk? Why can't we just assume that I can do that when it comes?
Yeah, no thanks.
But like even being up front and like nobody's moving, freezing your balls off. They used to be able to sell it by saying, well, we're sending you to free fall, which is great. But now everybody goes to free fall.
Yeah, now it's in the pipeline.
At least they got rid of SDV too. You imagine doing winter dives out there? Because I mean, nope, just can't imagine it. Don't want to do it.
Would have seen a drop on request.
But so you went to 5.
Yeah.
And that's kind of your style. Can you explain like the personalities of the West Coast teams?
So maybe they hold true now, but when I was going through, it was no fun. 1.
Yep.
Right. Like command PTs every morning at like fucking 6 and all this shit.
Yep.
3 was kind of just the quiet dudes with the sunglasses, right? And then 5 was liquid lunches at Danny's and never go back to work. Cowboys, like tattoos wherever the fuck you wanted. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. And I ended up in that platoon who actually personified those things.
Oh, I'm sure that's awesome though. If you can do that, like if there's nothing to do at work, you're done training. If I can go to lunch, get some drinks, chill out. You're going to war eventually, so don't try to. That's a fun place. I've been to Danny's a couple times, and that's quite a place, man. You want to explain a little bit about Danny's and why people should or shouldn't go there?
Yeah, Danny's is. It's got 2 parts to it. Danny's is very cool. It's almost like a mausoleum of like all the dead team guys have pictures posted up, and there's like little shots out or Budweiser or whatever they drank, and really cool stuff. Pictures from overseas. Guys built the Danny's in Iraq or Afghanistan, I forget where, and like they built it to scale. And they have pictures of that in there.
Oh
Good
wow,
burgers, yeah. But it's just a hallway. It's a hallway bar.
Yeah,
it's very small hallway bar, and it's in Coronado. Pretty heavy tourist place, which is weird because you go in there, it's like really dark, and guys are just guys be rocking Motley Crue or Guns N' Roses, and they're blasting it, and the bartenders are like, yeah, do whatever you want. So sometimes you'll have a couple of tourists in there, and then sometimes you'll go in at Wednesday at noon, and there's like 50 teen guys there, and and it's just fucking chaos. So you're like, you never know what you're gonna get,
or never know or what time it's gonna happen. Now, it had a reputation. I've been at the Coronado a couple times since I left the Navy. It had a reputation for being like a tough bar too. Are people still beating the shit out of each other, or is everything calm, or how's it going?
If there was a fight that was to happen at a bar in Coronado, I would put it at Danny's.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
Not McPee's though, because there was a famous SEAL that allegedly got knocked out by another famous SEAL.
Sure. I don't know.
I don't know.
That one. McPee's, I would say McPee's is like for the guys who used to go to Danny's and don't want to risk seeing a naked guy at noon and getting in a fight. But they still want that team guy vibe, so they go to McPee's because they're too old for that shit.
I just had a million memories flash. We had a place in Virginia Beach called, I don't know if you were there when Hoopla's was around, but Hoopla's was a place that it opened on Shore Drive, and a lot of us team guys were staying in those condos right there. So we'd walk over to Hoopla's. The very first day it was a family restaurant. Fast forward maybe 5 or 6 years, and I'm pretty sure it crumpled to the ground like the house in Poltergeist. Like the first day we're in there, this cute little girl's running the show, and I went with Tiny noon, and he ordered he said, I would like a pitcher of Guinness and I don't need a glass. So she brought him this pitcher of Guinness, and he goes, oh, excuse me, there's a hair in my Guinness. And he took it out, and she goes, oh, we'll get you a new one. No, I'll just drink this one, for no charge. And that started Hoopla's. So
like that's what Danny's is.
Yeah, a team guy.
If you want adventure, and you're okay if it's not PG-13,
check it out. Yeah, it is amazing to be in that area of Coronado too, because Coronado is a nice place. Like,
super nice place.
Expensive land, nice water. Pinkies out with your martinis and maybe a polo suit. So what's your first deployment like at Team 5?
We lucked out. We were supposed to go to the Philippines. And when I talked about liquid lunches and not going back to work and tattoos wherever you wanted, I think after our 15th ARI, our platoon got disbanded.
Whoa!
Yeah.
What is an ARI?
Alcohol-related incident. So we had 15 of those in a 6-month workup. And
15 of them in the Philippines or in Coronado?
No, in the States before.
Oh, they disbanded you before you left?
Yes.
Holy shit.
So we got disbanded. Pretty much they went from LPO up, gone.
Wow.
Replaced them. We did a miniature, like fucking 1 or 2 month, like, okay, how do you move? How do you, okay, blah, 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 blah. Miniature workup. And then we got sent to Iraq, 05. So silver lining is I got to go to Iraq.
Yeah. Was the head shed just bad, or just didn't care, or
No, they were fucking cowboys. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and call them bad. They're fucking awesome. Being
good? No, that's usually
Yeah.
what happens. You get good guys, and then
Yeah.
something happens.
But I mean, I think you can't argue against the incidences that involve law enforcement authorities out in town. It's hard to argue how good of a shot you are and tactician you are if your guys are in handcuffs every weekend.
Every weekend, yeah. What generally like DUIs, or what were they doing? Fighting,
beating up cops and stealing their weapons.
Oh, okay. You were serious about that. Yeah, those are big. Those are big.
Yeah, yeah.
This episode of the Operator Podcast is brought to you by my friends at True Nutrition. I found them on Instagram. Go give them a follow at True Nutrition. TrueNutrition, True Nutrition. They have the highest quality of products by using only raw ingredients from trusted sources that have the highest of standards. True Nutrition completely changed the protein powder game and have a wide variety of other supplements you'll dig too. They have creatine monohydrate powder, essential amino acids, and you can have peace of mind that all of their products come from the highest quality ingredients possible. I got a bunch the other day. I got protein isolate cold filtration. Naturally, I picked strawberry banana shake because that's kind of how I roll sometimes. A competitive meal replacement. I got that French vanilla because I'm digging the sweets. Custom greens in the banana smoothie flavor. And I got this oatmeal mix. I love their oatmeal. It's a blueberry muffin flavor, and it's Irish cut oats, organic freeze dried blueberries, strawberries, organic banana chips, and it's a huge electrolyte boost. I made it the other day, and just how everything blends together. Delicious oatmeal. I love the packaging as well for True Nutrition, keeping it simple. You get to their website, TrueNutrition.com, and you can basically make your own protein powder, make your own meal replacements. I totally dig it. It's delicious. It's filling. I love it. For a limited time, listeners of this podcast can get 15% off your entire order when you use code theoperator at checkout. That's 15% off your entire order at TrueNutrition.com. Promo code theoperator. You can take the guesswork out of the nutrition game at True Nutrition, and they will have these awesome packages and delicious meal replacements and protein powder, all that stuff delivered right to your door. So go to TrueNutrition.com, code theoperator. Got to back the blue.
Well, the cops actually turned out they started it and they were scumbags and had been on the cop timeout list with their department. But it was just more unwanted attention the Navy doesn't want.
Yeah,
you know how the teams are. You guys can play it fast and loose, but as soon as there's limelight on us, we're going to shut you guys down.
That's exactly
no matter
what it
who's
is.
at fault. No matter who's at fault, we're going to shut it down.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. But you did go. Did you go to where Ramadi, or did you hit Baghdad, or where were you guys in Iraq?
I was right in Baghdad, and then we bopped around to Tel Afar, Ramadi, and Habbaniyah.
Okay. Those are pretty hot. And 05's a busy time.
05 summer, it was hot. It was fun.
Yeah. What's a standard? What's a standard mission you guys would do?
Standard mission was we had a rotation of dudes that were mobility, right? Because we'd insert ourselves with Humvees.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, all right, you guys are turret driver, the rest of you guys are assaulters. 2 blocks away from the apartment building or house, park. Approach the door. Drago was there. Drago was fucking, I think he stayed for multiple times, overlapped and became the in-country master breacher. It was awesome.
Yeah, he and I were in Germany together, and he got in a little bit of trouble because there's certain things you do not say to Drago because he will call you out. It doesn't matter who you are because Drago's a bad motherfucker. I love that dude.
Oh yeah.
And he got in a little trouble, and so we went back. Somehow switched to SEAL Team 4, and he just because I was the Master at Arms until Green Team started for me in 04. So Drago went to Iraq somehow, and he might have transferred to the West Coast and then gone over with them. But then he would just call me and say, "Yeah, I'm in Iraq, tell everyone I'm fine, blah blah blah." And I would just be like, "I don't think it works that way, but
yeah, you need to call your detailer, bro."
Yeah, no one knows where you are, and you're working with the Polish Grom. I'm assuming you guys are up to no good.
Yeah, so he was just there, and like, I don't think I had gone to preacher school at this time yet, but he's like showing guys on the job training. We're just preaching shit, and so we
he was an excellent preacher.
Yeah, he's super smart too.
Yeah,
we preach, we do our hit. If there were shots or not, grab dudes, zip them up, take them back. So we did like, I think in the deployment, we did like 100-something DAs.
Really, daytime?
Night.
Okay.
DAs, and I mean most were dry holes or fucking, because we had, at that time I didn't know, we had been trying to do our own like intel and target packaging in our own community, because this isn't a JSOC team, this is just Team 5.
Right.
So there was some joint stuff going on, but I don't think enough people were sharing information.
Yeah, it gets a little fishy when you start when you're joint but not quite joint.
Yeah.
And overlapping not fields of fire, but battle space owners, different services. Were you guys going into Solder City?
No, we never did.
I think I went there once. It was pretty shitty. Basically fighting Iran too. Why not?
Yeah, some Chechens, some Iranians.
Yeah, you'll see. Yeah, usually when you get into the redheads, it's that's one of the if I get a gunfight, I'm saving one bullet for myself.
Oh yeah,
these aren't friendly people. They're what we. I think that as a Christian, I believe we would call these guys devout.
Oh yeah, they're about it. They are about it, as they say.
As they say. So, just so DA, that's cool though. I mean, so a standard day though, wake up with a few hours before the sun goes down, work out, coffee, eat, and then go out. And driving. That's about it.
That's it.
Were you in the turret or were you driving or where were you?
Moved all around, man. Obviously they did a good job because we were new guys, and the new guys, obviously by default, you're going to be up in the turret or driving because the guys that had been in for 18 years chasing war, they want to make some room entries. They're like, hey man, you got plenty of time to get your war on, young buck. Jump in the fucking turret. Yes. I've been doing this for 16 years. I'm finally at the show. I'm going to be the number one man. Okay.
Some of those dudes got pissed off at us too because we just were born at the time where we're going to get a lot of it's not my fault that I was born after you, just whatever.
But they did a good job. We rotated in. Good. Got to make a bunch of entries, so no complaints.
Yeah, I found out that war is actually really good training. You can really change a lot of tactics as the enemy's changing to your tactics. Did you guys what was that first? Was it 9-month deployment?
6.
Did you guys lose anybody?
No.
Good. That's good. It's refreshing. Was because there's a lot of talk about people wanting to do like patrol to contact or shake the tree or whatever they say, which I always disagreed with because
that's a whole different conversation, man. Go ahead.
I just don't think that a Navy SEAL's job is to patrol to contact, and God bless anyone whose job it is to do that. I just think that a lot of people that got in certain spots knew they only had a few shots at it, so they want to get as much as they can. And it's not to the dude that's been on his 6th or 7th deployment. It's like, we don't need to go do that just because you're bored.
Yeah. So I had this conversation with someone a while back, and it's like, hey, it's easy for me at now 40 years old who got to go do legit strikes on houses and bad guys to sit back and say patrolling the contact, it's not worth even stubbing anybody's toe doing. But if I was a 21-year-old in country or a young officer with my guys and we're sitting there playing fucking Xbox and we had a chance to go get it on, and who am I to say? I would be like, no, it's not worth it, guys. I'd be like, let's fucking go.
Yeah, I know.
So it's hard. It's really difficult.
It is. It's especially when you first get started and you're young and you want to see how good you and your team are.
Yep.
Yes, but then I started getting to a point where it's like, I mean, it's not even worth someone stepping on an IED out here. Going after what? This guy that you said is a shadow governor, but we all know he's a fucking farmer, and that's it. And some other tribe hates him, so they want us to go kill him.
Oh, yeah. In the beginning of the war, they had all the entities that we have weren't sharing information. So guys would come up like, this guy's a bad guy. He stole my goat. And then he'd get paid by one entity. Then he'd come to the military, say the same thing. And they were just like tattletaling on each other. And we'd go hit these guys.
They they're not much for indoor plumbing, but they can sure hold a grudge.
A blood feud for fucking centuries.
Yeah, blood feud. You know you're
Blood
serious
feud.
about that.
Legit blood feud.
So then that's when how many deployments did you knock out at 5?
2. So after that one, my buddy kept talking about Dev Group Screener, and I was like, I didn't really know what Dev Group was at the time.
Yeah.
And I had said that earlier on another show, and people were like, you were at 5, and how could you not know what Dev Group was? Because I didn't. Like, it wasn't really talked about. And I think the group of guys, the little banditos I was with out at Team 5, I think some of them may have had a negative taste in their mouth. Maybe they screened it, didn't get picked up. So it was never talked about. And if it was never talked about in a good light, ever.
Yeah, I get that vibe from some people that didn't even screen. And I don't. Again, I think that's something that it's in your mind. I didn't make the decision for him. If I didn't screen, I wouldn't have forgiven myself. There was a point where I was just going to get out, but now it's like, well, we can try this place out. So, I mean, were you getting negative responses when you said you're going to screen? Are they trying to keep you out there, or do they really? What were they saying?
Well, my best friend at the time, he's like, hey, I'm going to try out for this thing. I said, you're my best friend. I'll go with you.
Yes.
And when I went up to the Master Chief office, he goes, hey, I'm actually looking for you. I want you to do this. I'm like, that's funny. I was asking if I could. So you fill out the packet.
Good.
And we got back from Iraq. We took the screener. And I was one of the few guys they told on the spot, like, you're going. And then we worked up and went to the Philippines for my second deployment. And then after that, out to selection.
Cool. So your second deployment was the PI.
Yeah.
Is that where you got your nickname?
No, I got my nickname at Pacers Strip Club in San Diego.
Can you delve into that? Because that's an interesting story.
Yeah, so I'm a new guy, and it was one of those days, probably a Thursday, like at fucking noon, go to Danny's.
Great buffet.
Go to Pacers. Okay, going to Pacers. And I'm underage, so we finagle, I get in, and me and the other new guys are at the kids' table booth, and then all the old guys are kid shit faced, and we're gonna have to drive them home after paying for all their drinks. And I'm like, oh, fuck, I make the most of this, right? And there's this professional entrepreneur dancer working at the establishment, right? And she's a little bit older than me, maybe a little more experienced. And I was like, hey, what's up? I'm like, what are you doing after this? I got to get these guys home. It's all good. And she said, honey, I don't know if you can handle me. I'm nasty. And I was like, oh, look. And I didn't want to back down because everyone had started to like lean into this conversation. And well, I'm dirty, like that was the first thing that came to my mind. And
I'm dirty.
like, not I'm the one who's known as, but like I too have these types of traits that you say you have. And the old guys behind me just leaned over the booth like, you're fucking dirty, you're dirty. And I was like, fuck, dude. And it just stuck. That's it.
That's a good nickname because it could be from it could be from a stripper, a professional. It could just be from drinking an entire dip spitter. It could mean a myriad.
There's multiple dirties in the team. It's like, oh,
we got a couple.
Yeah, he doesn't wash his socks. I'm like, that's just gross. You should call him unhygienic or something.
It's not dirty. That's just fucking gross.
It's just gross, bro. Come on.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I had some of those trips out there too at to Vegas at one of their places, and one of the lines I remember a guy coming out said, well, it turns out you can put a price on a good time. It's $12,000. So, I mean, you got to figure if you're making Navy pay, that's no small chunk of change to be throwing around.
That's a fucking quarter of your annual salary.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we're taking food out of people's mouths at this point, putting other stuff in. So,
hey kids, I need you to start thinking about a junior college.
Oh, so that's 07, and you come out to Green Team.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what I remember, I wasn't a team leader yet, but I remember your class, and I think you guys had a really strong class in 07.
Yeah. Well, we were 07, 02. We had two. There was two
classes and I remember a lot of the dudes that came out was fucking badass, really good.
Well, you got to think about the timing. We had guys who had deployed for real, and I think a lot of guys at 6 at the time, they only remembered their experience, and their experience was probably not a whole lot until they got to the command.
Yes.
And they see these Green Team students like doing shit and like fucking, having maybe a little bit more confidence than they would have liked to have seen. Like, what the fuck? It's like, bro, and they tell stories like, we actually do stuff. I'm like, bro, what do you think I did in Iraq?
What do you think I've been doing?
In 05, summer of 05 in Habib Ramadi. And they're like, oh shit. So I think they kind of forgot that guys were doing stuff.
Well, that's what I always liked about SEAL Team 6 is you don't have new guys. You're a newer guy because you just got here, but you don't know what you get. And that era right there, 05, 06, 07. And I mean, we started really getting it in 07. That's summer deployment. But a lot of dudes at first, first obviously the fighting with Operation Anaconda, a lot of the ambushes and shit like that, Wolverine. But then it kind of died down a little bit, just sending all the assets to Iraq, and we kept the outstation, which ended up paying dividends because we're working sources, working that in case there's ever a cross border op. But did you have any issues in Green Team? Did you start with skydiving or did they start with CQB first?
CQB.
Yeah. That makes sense. I think at first you spend a couple million on a jump trip, and then half the guys fail CQB the next week.
Yeah, they can't. Yeah, I'm releasing you into a shoot target, and then realizing there's a shoot target, and then taking shots. I've seen some crazy stuff in the house.
Yeah.
So I didn't really have a problem. I think attitude again. It was like who's this fucking guy? And I didn't know really what it was, and I didn't know guys at the command, so I didn't have it like as this thing that's on a pedestal. Like so when we're at Shaw's and guys would get ready to be the next group in the house, guys would be like up walking, doing like fake move clearance on the grass, and I'd just be sitting there like looking for a 4-leaf clover or something, and then read and react when the door opens when it's my turn. And they thought I didn't take it seriously, but I did. I just don't like to overthink stuff and just do what I've been taught when I see it.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember hearing about you. I was not the team leader, like I said, but you get reports. You've seen it, how dudes are doing. I was like, yeah, I definitely want dirty in D team. Didn't get you, but we got close.
Yeah, we had to do some stuff.
Yeah, but it's that's true though. Not one to overthink it. It could come off as he's not paying attention. He doesn't care.
Exactly. He doesn't care. I'm like, no, I do care, but you don't understand. I care so much. If I start thinking about this,
I'll fuck it up. Yeah. It's the whole thing when you say the guy in front of me is definitely going to go left. So I'm definitely going to go right. So I got to angle my body to definitely do. And all of a sudden he doesn't go that way. Don't choreograph what you think will happen. Get there and watch it happen and then do something about it.
100%.
No. Yeah. But you got up there. I remember when you came up there. What was our first deployment together? Red Team, SEAL Team by God 6. Did we go to Iraq? Was that the first one?
Afghanistan.
Afghanistan was?
I think you were at an outstation.
I was probably running ABAD.
So yeah, you were. And then my team leader was also running one. So I got tucked up underneath Fox with Ollie.
Yes. Okay, that's a good guy to go over there. He knew his shit over there. That's for damn
That's what you had. That was the deployment. You had your thing between
on the
those
border.
2 countries. Yeah.
Yeah. I bombed Pakistan.
Yeah, I remember.
And that's a good decision. It's like, because it's like, well, you're either going to get a silver star or you're going to Leavenworth for the rest of your life. So that's super.
Yeah.
We should have an answer in about 3 weeks. So don't do anything. Okay.
No, that was my first deployment, and there was so many things that I thought I knew that I fucking did not, and I learned so much on that deployment.
Yeah, like what?
We fucking get our shit, get on the 47s, and then we land the 47. I get up and I start walking towards the back, and everyone's like fucking pushing me, like, turn around, idiot. I'm like, what? I didn't know TF-160 is full of psychotic helicopter pilots that can front right. Land against the mountain, and we're gonna jump out the door gun door on the front of the helicopter. I didn't know that was a thing. I thought the ramp goes, you go out the back. So I'm like, what the fuck?
Those dudes
like
are incredible.
The blades are like, I'm like, what? This is insane. Those guys are amazing.
47 pilots are incredible. Al Mack, I got to get him on the show. He's a legend. We made those T-shirts that said, "I know Al Mack." I got one right over there.
That's awesome. So those guys are nuts.
The 60 pilots incredible. And we didn't use Little Birds in Afghanistan. They might have had Green might have had them in Kandahar, did they? I don't know. But so first one's good, and then did we go to Iraq the next one, or because the one that stands out to me, and I don't even know if you're allowed to talk about it, but I can talk about it, when we rescued some dude from Somali pirates.
Oh yeah, I'm not allowed to talk about it.
But because I remember you wore your Rolex. on the
Yeah.
jump. And it was, I think during like your JMPI or something, maybe, I don't know. And you said, yeah, I want to give this Rolex to my son eventually. Wouldn't that be a cool story that I jumped in for this rescue? It's like, sounds cool to me. I mean, I can't afford a Rolex.
Well, one of the other guys said, like, damn, buddy, you jumping the rollie in? I said, yeah. He's like, yeah, I know you're single. I said, yeah.
Yeah, I can tell you're single. Yeah,
I can tell you're single jumping in the Indian Ocean with the Rolex.
That's pretty funny.
Baby. It's got a combat jump. Let's go.
That's an official by God combat jump. I was drinking coffee when the snipers took the shots. What were you doing?
I think I was playing spades.
Yes, a lot of spades going on.
A lot of spades.
You know who was really good at cribbage? I was playing with Ollie cribbage. He's really good.
We played cribbage a lot, you and I, and Ollie.
Yeah.
And it was $1 a point added up over the deployment.
Yeah, you'd be sliding that rollie over.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was, what was amazing about the Phillips thing too, it was because we, SEAL Team 6 had never done that. We claimed to do it, come close, but never done it. But we trained on everything. And I thought we thought of everything. I thought, not us, but like the guys before us in 1980. Everything from the nuke stuff to the yachts. Gold Team did one on the yachts. Fucking awesome. But we never done it. And what we realized was, what we never thought of? How do we get these guys back? What the fuck?
Yeah.
I
hope they figured it out now.
Well, I hope so. We went through Qatar. Remember when they had to process our IDs?
Dude, we went to Doha, Qatar.
It basically gave our IDs and our socials to fucking Al Qaeda.
Yeah.
And nobody, not even an apology.
That's when we called. I forget what the acronym of the team. The command gave for the welcoming party that was supposed to welcome us, and I just called them GLSA. Just like situational awareness. I just changed the acronym to GLSA. Like, come on, guys.
I had fun there though. Once we got on base, I remember we could go over and. Well, yeah, there's some shady shit going on. Well, with the Army too, because that's where they would send the soldiers for R&R. And we would, some soldiers didn't want to have their 2 or 3 beers or what, so we'd take their beers from them.
Yeah, well, you take the drink tickets.
Yeah, take the drink tickets, and then the CID, their version of NCIS, was saying, "Hey, these Navy SEALs aren't SEALs; these are undercover operatives, making sure you're not giving away beers." Like, no, we're not. We're just literally trying to get more.
Give me these.
Give me the fucking beer. I'm not turning you in. I'm about to sing karaoke. I need those 3.
Yeah, the best was when we first showed up. Like, we had just jumped in with our cutoff cries. We had beards and shit.
Yeah.
And everything went down. We were stuck on the ship for 7-8 days after?
Yeah,
9,
something like that, yeah.
Then we show up to this base in the middle of the day, and one of the admin people from the command shows up in front of the Next with the command credit card, and it's like, let's all go shopping. So we're walking through the Next in our fully non-standardized, kitted out fucking camis with no patches, no name tags.
Nothing. Just
and
a bunch
we
of
all had, and it's the PX or whatever. So there's like 4 different board shorts, 4 different t-shirts.
That's
like
it.
So here's everyone just dressed the same. We didn't have any fucking clothes.
Everybody's wearing fake Oakleys and whatever. I think I found some FUBU.
Yeah.
Got a couple sideways looks for rocking that, but I enjoyed the gyms were great, and I liked the pool. It wasn't bad. And then every night you go over to that fake little inside
shell thing.
Yeah. And then there was
the club.
The club. Yeah, that wasn't too bad.
No.
But then how did we eventually get home? Oh, you know what? We took those buses that were filthy to the airport and flew back. That's right. I remember that. What a weird trip. Yeah. So basically when people talk about service, I'm like, well, I'm telling the truth. I was drinking coffee when the heroes took the shots. So that's it.
Yeah. I mean, we were staged to go do some other cool shit, but I mean, it didn't work out that way. And fine by me. Because I see it as like, we got it done, right? We got it done.
That's what I'm saying.
Collectively. Hey, we did. And plus, I was that morning before we were at the command. The day before, they're like, "Hey, guess what? You're the new loadmaster."
Yes, I remember that. Yes.
And I show up there, and they're like, "Yeah, all the boats are overweight, the planes are overweight." I'm like, "Okay, so like, why do I have this fucking checklist?" And then I had like the roll call sheet, and then everyone's up, and then the top 4 of the command, out of our squadron of the command show up.
Oh yeah, they're coming.
And they're like, I'm like, sir, your name's on the list. I'm like an E5. I'm like, shut the fuck up. I'm like, okay, your name's on the list now. You know, like they're like this commanding the CEO of fucking
Yeah,
Six.
the CEO of
They're
Six was
they're
there.
like, yeah, I'm coming on this. I'm like, yeah, but sir, we don't have you're gonna use the extra parachute and you're not on the manifest and we're overweight. And it's just like, move. And I'm like, okay, I tried to do my job.
He's coming. I gave him a JMPI before that jump.
Yeah. So we had no extra chutes, no extra altimeters, and overweight.
Well, the good news is you don't really need an altimeter because I think we ended up jumping at
it was like a
5,500.
Yeah.
And thank God none of the reserves were pulled, so that was good. I remember I was a lead jumper. I had a hard time finding the boats because the sun was glaring down. I couldn't see the boats.
Oh, no shit.
So I'm up there tapping my legs together like an asshole, just telling the stack that I got them. I'm like, I don't know where to find. I can see the
I've
flat
got
top.
another 2,000 feet to find.
Yeah, we might end up on the carrier. So follow me. Follow my lead.
Well, yeah, the boxer was really close, and we had to push him up.
Yeah. We can see it. I got the video of it. You can see it. Right around down to 6 guys jumping. You can see the boxer down there. Yeah, and then there we go. And then, but the Bainbridge is far away.
Yeah.
So
me and one other guy jumped in with Gray.
Yeah.
That was my first time doing that. So I was like doing my count, chilling, not paying attention. And all of a sudden, I'm like on top of the chutes that are carrying the H-stack. I'm like, oh, fuck.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I like hit the brakes. So it was easy for me. I jumped with the boats. I landed right next to that fucking jumped in because I didn't want to get ate by sharks.
You never know out there. The Indian Ocean, man, is Indian country. What and I remember shit like they were taking weight out of the boats because the boat guys had so much pistol ammo. It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing with pistol? Dude,
what are you doing?
Why do you even have pistol?
Bring a pistol half the time. What are you doing?
I don't either. I'm not climbing up. No. I got a cleaning rod and I got my H&K 416. That's all I need.
We're good.
And whatever I fit in this fucking bag, which turns out it was smart to bring. I brought my leopard towel and my extra pair of underwear.
I jumped a little belly bag too, a little North Face duffel. Yeah.
Oh, we had dudes Zing out off that ramp too with the weird, because I mean, SOP was put the stuff in the boat and the boat jumps with it. But now it's like, well, nothing fits because everything's heavy. Because why wouldn't it be on our first real world zero? I don't want to say it. You know what it is.
Yeah.
I almost got busted there.
Yeah, really easy.
But yeah, so that was that, and we came back, and then another Afghanistan deployment, I think, after that, and chilling.
And that was it. Yeah.
And you could hear it sort of winding down. So, but you know what I want to get into? I know we're reminiscing about how fun it was to go to war and kick doors and shoot people, which it was good for a time. But I like to talk about the transition for you out of SEAL Team 6 into. Now, did you go back to the West Coast first, then get out, or you stayed on? You stayed on.
No, I went to the West Coast and taught CQC to SQT students, which was cool because we had like 4 or 5 other guys recently who left the command.
Good.
Who came out all in that training block. So we had our students, when we put them through, by the end of week 4, they were fucking good. Like super good.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What were you mainly getting back in, like combat clearance, slowing it down a little bit, or what?
Teaching both, having to shoot like two rooms deep, all the stuff, and like white side platoons with their workup. They're like, whoa. I'm like,
yeah.
These guys are good.
Well, I mean, it's like that can get sporty as hell. Like, look at the Israelis just did, man. You're going in and try to rescue hostage against people who want to be martyrs. You want to be fast, but you want to be slow. You got to have your shit together, and that's why you take headshots.
Turn off the computer.
Just get it all done. But so you're doing that, and then you get into some. I like the way you called yourself a mercenary.
Yeah,
because that's kind of what it was. Can you just walk me down that path? How that started after the Navy?
So found out I missed my reenlistment bonus, the big one that everyone got, and the timing, some bullshit. So I'm like, okay, the way the writings on the wall is looking for the future of warfare for us, not looking like what I want. And I missed out on this big paycheck, XYZ. I'm getting out. Didn't have a plan. And to be fair, I didn't really transition. I went straight from that pretty much to working for Trident Group America, doing anti-piracy security on bridge wings of big container ships. That was more of like a contractor. Right? It was super boring. Never saw a fucking pirate. You're standing on the bridge wing in the middle of the ocean. It's like, fuck, dude. This is pretty low. It sucked.
They didn't even come out. They didn't come after you. But they were. This is around the time they started giving the security guys guns, right? So
Yeah, we were armed, but I mean, we had M4s with iron sights. I mean, better than nothing, right?
Yeah, if someone's coming up a ladder, you definitely have the advantage.
Oh yeah,
you can almost shoot by sound.
Yeah. So I mean, we had boats now. Obviously, the first trip, I'm like, oh. It's like a fishing boat. They're like, hi. I'm like, you think everyone's a pirate, and they're like, you're not. Especially, it had been going on for a while, and the pirates got smart. They'd have spotters when they pull into a port in the previous city. Like, they have security, don't mess with them. So did that, and then I got a call I did that for a little bit, and then I was like, man, I don't want to be the guy that goes back to the teams with his tail tucked between his legs, because he didn't really even transition, and I did. I was that guy. I called up SEAL Team 17, which is the West Coast Reserve SEAL team.
Right.
And they said, yeah, man, love to have you. And that's a hustle, because you have to get on orders to get paid and try to find schools to send you to as long as there's money, and then find different pools of money that the Navy is, that's the big Navy's money, but not SEAL Team 17's money. And you go to schools that way. So I did that hustle for a bit, got to do a really cool deployment to South Korea for 6 months.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And then I got a phone call saying, hey, we want to meet you. We're doing some big things. And
it's always a good conversation.
Yeah, doing some big things, and your name came up. Okay, so I had the first meeting, and I wasn't really sold. And I had something brewing at SEAL Team 17, like a really big, long school that was going to give me a paycheck for like fucking 6 months.
Good.
And I was like, cool. When that fell through, I called up the guy who I had initially met. He's like, happy you called. The Prime, my boss, wants to meet you. So that's how I think I went from contractor to mercenary.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I ran into a cafe. What's the cafe in DC?
Cafe Milano.
Cafe Milano, the world famous Cafe Milano, where there's more shady deals going down, probably as we speak. I doubt there's naked frogmen at 11 a.m., but it's
not that.
I
Different
did
type of shady, real shady, not innocent shady.
Yeah, real shady, where people are actually getting hurt and a lot of money's changing hands. That's not quite theirs. Yeah, I met your guy there. Very cool, fun little meeting. And then, yeah, because I remember I had some guy say some shit to me.
Yeah,
and I looked at, and I don't think he knew you and your buddy were with me, but it was just like, yeah, you heard that. It's like he has no idea what he's getting into. It didn't pan out, just a couple words, but yeah, I remember when you were doing that. So what? Can you get into what kind of stuff you were doing? Because we got to get to Serbia.
Yeah, we do. So initially it was just, I thought it was going to be like super black crazy, but it wasn't. It was pretty much the UAE has a special unit that isn't special. Can you go make them special? Right? We have this presidential force and they're good, but can you guys make them better to make them pretty much able to operate? Okay. Went to UAE, flew into Yemen, met up with our counterparts, and it was kind of going to be a buy through with to go hit some targets with these guys. And then after some training follies and some language barriers and everything, Murphy just showing up at every corner. I was like, I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go unilateral, go fucking do this. Give me one of them, so it's buy through with. Let's go. And that was kind of what was going on in Yemen.
What were the training follies? Because I kind of know what you're getting at, but a lot of times when you work with different partnering units, if you will, they just suck balls.
Yeah. I mean, there was good dudes there, but some guys, you've seen the videos of guys doing jumping jacks and
oh yeah,
they
that's what I was thinking.
There's that, and then like, hey, this thing's heavy. I don't want to wear my helmet. I'm like, but it holds your night vision. Like, yeah, yes. But night vision's heavy too, so I don't want to wear
heavy.
that
I don't
either.
really want to. I don't. Yeah.
I'm like, bro, that's how you see at night. That's like the coolest fucking superpower in the world.
Yeah, you literally have a superpower, and you want to give it away because it's heavy.
No, but my head hurts.
But my head, my neck. My neck, my back, my neck, and my back. I remember. It's like, yeah, okay, so we're gonna start tomorrow at 07. We'll dock out PT, and their answer was always Inshallah. I'm like, so no, I won't be. God willing, I will not see you at 7 a.m. I'll see you whenever God wants you here. So I might sleep in as well, fuckers.
Yeah. So we came up with a plan. We do a vehicle insert. They were
you're doing this.
Oh yeah. So this is the training following. These guys have MRAPs. They're supposed to lock down an intersection while we go continue on with one of their guys. Dismount, do what we need to do, actions on, get back in and reconvene with the blocking force who's holding down a roundabout, jump back in with their MRAPs and our up armored line cruisers and RTB. Well, all right, let's do a legit walkthrough. We did it on base. We did it on base at night, and then we did it out in town the next day during the day, away from the actual target. And
yeah, right.
Long story short, we break away from the MRAPs at their first vehicle set point, and we're pretty much heading down ambush alley. Looky loos start coming out. No more women and kids. Dudes with AKs on roofs and doorways, and we're like, nope, we got to back out. So as soon as we turn around to go in reverse, we turn around, look, and all three of the MRAPs are just wedged in this alley with walls. The rearview mirrors are smashed in. They're stuck. They weren't supposed to follow us. So we had to diddy mount on our own. We broke away from our partner force. We had a call for that. You guys meet. We just all responsible for each other. Like, you guys are responsible for your team. We're responsible for us. We meet you at the base. Get back to the base, and the debrief was like, everyone's pissed. Comms went down. The guy said he knew English, doesn't know English. You know, no fault in him too, because I don't know fucking Arabic. So it's like everything went to fucking shit.
Everything's going bad.
This isn't gonna happen with the way it is drawn up as it is.
Yeah, shit like that's what's happening too. You need your first loss might be your best loss.
Yep, better have it out in town than the dry run than the real one.
Well, they can but that place can get hot real fast. We've had dudes go in there and just get hammered.
It's crazy because they have legit fighters, and all of a sudden the battlefield, it's not. And this has been going on for a while. It's no longer World War II. There's a trench. There's a bunch of people who don't look like you wearing different uniforms. And then there's a bunch of people who are dressed the same as you. And on that side is this, that side is that. It's just a city, and there's Al-Qaeda Arabian Peninsula, then there's Houthis, and there's this and that. And you're just like, what the fuck? Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a weird relationship too with Al-Qaeda and the Houthis, because Iran kind of supports both of them, even though they're supposed to hate each other based on, religion. If you can imagine, people get really obsessed with religion, but they the whole enemy of my enemy is my friend type shit. So I mean, how is the relationship with Al Qaeda and the Houthis? Are they fighting each other too? Because I know that Saudi Arabia and the Houthis are fighting, and they're Sunni, which is Al Qaeda.
Pick a day. Toss a coin.
Sure.
Yeah. I don't know.
Dangerous place. So that's for a number of months, and then what exactly? Can you get into what happened in Serbia? Because this is fascinating.
Yeah. Do that job. Wrap that up. Come back home. Do another job with the UAE. Just doing a legit 6-month training cycle with there, and then I picked up another job, which was pretty much getting dirt, doing a human job, some human intelligence, gathering dirt on a bad dude that lived in Serbia that was funding, like a big, ACAP funder, money guy. Said, okay. And I think maybe you've experienced this too. When certain people are out of their home country, sometimes Allah cannot see into that country they're in. I've been in Bahrain.
Yeah, me too. I was thinking Bahrain also.
And I'm at the 70th floor at the Sheraton or wherever the fuck, boozing. And I see all these guys in very traditional clothing, boozing, girls hanging on them. And I see a guy in the bathroom. He's like, yeah, Allah can't see in Bahrain, so I'm good.
I know.
I'm like, Roger that. Had no idea. He needs to get someone on that. He needs some support. So I was like, okay, this guy's in Serbia. I can catch him being not so halal, right? I can find some dirt. So I'm pretty much beating streets, fucking, talking to the high-end fucking mistress that runs all the girls. If he's fucking doing that, no. Talking to guys that know drugs. Is he using? Is he buying from you? No. So I'm like fucking hitting just dead end after dead end. you know, and I went in. I went in. I didn't go in black. I came in true name. Their airport, and just trying to find out anything on this guy. I was gonna give it another month. Be like, dude, this guy's fucking clean as a whistle. Like, you're not gonna get any sort of evidence against him to hold over his head to make him stop being, you know, the sugar daddy for this terrorist organization.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then one night, I was kind of running a source, and I was at his house. He says he needs to step out. He steps out. 45 minutes later, he comes flying in, smashes up against the wall, handcuffed. I'm like, what the fuck? And I look, and there's a fucking. We know how big a pistol is, right?
Mm-hmm.
The barrel of a pistol is. But I looked to my left, and for some reason, I felt there was a pistol barrel that felt like it was this big, pointing at my temple.
Jesus.
And I'm like, what the fuck? And I, kind of zoom out a little bit, and I see a uniform. It looks like a cop uniform, but it looks like he bought it at Party City. You know what I mean? So I was like, what? But then I focused back on the barrel pointed at my head, and it's a gun. It's a cop. The cop's fingers on the gun, the trigger of the gun, and I can hear the magazine spray and bullets rattling because he's fucking terrified. So there's this 21-year-old cop, like,
oh god damn.
I'm just like, I said, man, after all the shit I've been through, and on this job, which is just get some intel on him. I have a fucking gun in my face, and this is it. So I'm getting yelled at in Serbian, and so at the time I didn't know any Serbian, so I did what I thought was smart and just slowly raised my hands. Like,
yeah,
this is a safe bet, right? Yeah. This will be safe.
There should be some universal languages, and like I like to say that everybody speaks gun. So maybe how did that work out?
Well, they got arrested. They asked why I was there. Fascinated I was American. Got handcuffed. They said, hey, do you like guns? I said, as much as the next guy, I guess. I'm not a big gun guy. I mean, I have some, but like, I teach shooting. I don't have a million guns. I only have two hands. Like, what
I know how to use them, I guess. Yeah.
So they're like, ooh, go get interrogated. Go to the police station, get interrogated. And they're like, so what? Like, what are you doing here? I'm like, just hanging out. What's your job? I'm a defense contractor. Really? What qualifies you to do that? Oh, I was in the Navy. What'd you do in the Navy? I was in the SEAL teams. So there's this ex-Navy SEAL defense contractor in Serbia. And I think it was like an election year too. And I had no idea, right? So they're like, oh, you're fucked.
Yeah. And a lot of the Serbs are still pissed at us.
Yeah. Brain fart on me. I thought the whole Kosovo thing would have been not as much as
they said to me when I was near there, they said, the United States could have had us on a silver platter and you bombed us. It's like, well, I didn't personally bomb you.
Well, yeah, that's what I was getting to. Like, oh, Kosovo. I'm like, bro, I was like 15. Like, I wasn't in a fucking fighter jet bombing you.
Yeah. I was doing recon and surveillance in Kosovo watching your village, and you were some lazy motherfuckers. Just leaned up against the wall and just leaned there all day, which, I mean, I guess I'm a little jealous.
Yeah. So I get interrogated. Good cops like DEA, no. CIA, no. Mossad, no. CIA, no. I'm like, dude, no. This goes on for 3 or 4 days. And he's like, okay, so you're not here to kill Vucic. And I'm like, what's that? The president. I'm like, of what? He's like, of this. I'm like, oh, fuck, no, I don't know.
Of this.
I don't know. I don't know what you guys have going on here. So he got it. He goes, look, I believe you, but the newspapers already have the story.
Oh,
and
yeah.
You're famous now. You're fucked. I'm like, it's an Eastern European country, not part of NATO, not part of the EU. There's still civil people here. Like, this is going to be cleared up in a couple of days. Bing, bang, boom. I'm out of here. And that was not the case.
No, I remember reading about you, wondering if I would ever see you again.
Yeah.
So they sent, go ahead.
Get wrapped up. Did the interrogation, and then another night later, I got interrogated by 2 more cops. And I said, who are these guys? To the good cop that told me newspaper have the story already. He goes, these are organized crime cops. What? Why? Well, because The guy's house you're at, he got arrested with 2 other guys. That's 4 people. Anything 3 or more is organized crime. So now I'm wrapped up in an organized crime case. And you know, their interrogation is shitty. I actually tell them, no, you should be behind me. He should take notes. He should translate. Then you guys should switch if you have questions. And they're like, okay, you're a fucking asshole. I'm like, no, this is just making me mad because that's not how you interrogate somebody. So they put me back in my cell, went to the court, made statements. They said, hey, we don't know what's going on, but you're an ex-SEAL and you're American and you're going to jail. Okay. So in jail, put in a room with a guy who murdered his wife with a hammer, Croatian terrorist, and a guy who is a professional kidnap and ransom dude.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And that began my journey in prison in Serbia.
Is that now kick someone's ass the first day or become someone's bitch? Or
so I was ready. I was like, I've seen the movies.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering because
I'm ready. Like I'm gonna
here
take
now.
off
What
my human mask and just fuck it, just destroy people. Right? Maybe even be a little therapeutic, right? Fuck it. When I get there, they're like, whoa, dude. You've watched way too many movies. We don't get down like that in here. I'm like, what? Really? Very homogeneous country. White, Orthodox. You have some like Romani gypsies, but there isn't like race gangs or street gangs.
Not like here.
Because it's like 99% Serbian, Anglo-Saxon, white, whatever, not Anglo-Saxon, but like white people. And they're all the same religion. So there's like less things to be divided about, I guess. Not that anyone should be divided over any of those things.
No, I agree.
And they're like, hey, dude, it's us versus them. Us being the prisoners, them being the system, right? So even the 2 like big cocaine mafias that are in the area out of Montenegro, they kind of like squash the beef in prison too, because they just want to get back out on the street and handle it on the street or go back to work, whatever. So that vibe wasn't really there. And plus the newspapers beat me to prison saying I wanted to kill the president. Everybody in the prison, including the guards, hates the president. So I'm getting salutes when I walk in and I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Like, yeah, we hate that guy and you're here to kill him. And I was like, I'm like, I'm not, but I'm not going to say I'm not.
No, if that's,
because I'm kind of riding this wave. So I just
there's still, even though there's not gangs, but there's got to be a hierarchy of some sort.
There's a hierarchy for sure. And the guy, so when I got out of the hammer murderer's room, which was a special room, we only had 30 minutes a day on walk. They put me in a bigger room, which got, 2 hours a day during the walk. And you got to go with everyone else on that block, not just your room. He was the guy, this guy is professional killer for the state.
Okay.
And he fucking guards are on the take. If he wanted someone to move from a different room block, he just snapped his fingers and it happened. So yeah, definitely a hierarchy in there. It was professional killers. There's like 1 or 2. And then underneath that, you had kind of like tax fraud businessmen. And then you had a bunch of kids who just sold drugs to like support their family, like 18, 22. And then you had some gypsies, some Romani, like legit Romani gypsy people. And that was it.
And were you in the professional killer because they thought you're going to assassinate the president, or did you?
Oh yeah, they had me in the newspapers as the most dangerous man to ever be in Serbia.
Oh, that's cool.
They said, their minister of defense said, he didn't have that gun just to shoot fish in the Danube River, and like I didn't have a gun ever. There was a gun with the kid whose house I got arrested at. He was in another city and he got arrested with guys who had a gun. So like the whole story got jumbled up to where like this person was there and like no. So eventually court came out. They're like, no, he didn't, which took forever to even get to court.
Yeah. So you're waiting for your trial. So what everyone in there almost everyone's a Serb, right?
Oh yeah.
So then you got to learn Serbian, I'm assuming. How does that work out?
Good. The professional killer knew some English. The other guy in that room was an Australian guy who got busted doing a huge cocaine deal.
Okay.
And I asked for a dictionary, and I would go to the cantina and buy fucking paper, and I'd fold, crease, and tear little flashcards, and I went from Serbian to English, did flashcards, and then I went back through English to Serbian if there's words I missed.
Yeah.
Just had Tupperware flashcards every night. Boom, 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 boom.
Oh, that's cool shit. And then so you're going to trial. How long do you wait for trial, and how does the trial go?
I was held without being charged for 11 months. And then by the end of month 11, I was finally charged with possession and manufacturing and possession of a firearm and explosives.
Oh, that's not good.
I said, sure. Like whatever you like, say whatever you want. Just like it's so fucking ridiculous. Say anything, right?
Are they going to give you a fair share? Or are they just going to let you rot because you got an infamous name now, or you're?
I thought I was going to get screwed because the other guys in my case all had house arrest, and every time I came up for house arrest, a newspaper article about me would post, even though nothing happened in my trial. Like my lawyer got assassinated in June.
He did?
And yeah. The end of January, I was arrested. My lawyer got assassinated in June. Front page, lawyer killed because of SEAL. My room gets searched. I get, lift the nuts, spread the cheeks. I'm like, what? What do you think? Do you think I killed my lawyer? Like, what the fuck? It was just bananas, dude. So no one wanted to touch me.
What the hell? I mean, that's got to be. I mean, I know everything from. I remember watching you jump ladders on hay-hos and how dangerous that is. But you've always had a really solid mindset as far as getting through stuff. You're gonna. I remember being very impressed. A lot of the shit you jumped was impressive. But what's the mindset there? Like, I might never get out of here. Do I just get good at chess? What do you do?
Exactly, man. I was like, chess, fitness, and learn Serbian. I was like, fuck. Because there was no case against me. My lawyer's like, dude, you're fucked, bro. I'm like, okay.
Because I mean, that's like we went from Afghanistan to Iraq to. I remember we had those what we call prison yard workouts, and now you're actually doing prison yard workouts. Like, how the fuck did I get here?
Yeah, fuck.
And then what's the turning point?
Turning point is finally getting charged. I'm there for 11 months, just waiting.
Limbo.
No AC, no fucking heat. The prison was built pre-World War II. I mean, it's fucking, think Eastern European prison. Close your eyes. That's it. Like 100%. Bed bugs, all that shit.
Just everything sucks. The food bad?
Just fucking. There's no It's just all horrible. Like everything bad. Done.
And there's no light at the end of the tunnel.
I'll get convicted and go to the big prison where I can be outside more. That's the light.
That's the light. Yeah. Hopefully, I get convicted soon. So then what turned in your favor eventually?
I think the judge, man. My lawyer came in one day. He's like, we've been charged. You have a judge finally. Because we had to wait a month after I was charged to even get a judge because no judge wanted my case because there's no evidence against me. But people in politics are saying I had a gun. So she's like, fuck. So a young judge takes my case, female.
Yeah.
Very attractive.
Yeah.
And in Serbia, there's no jury. It's a judge. That's it.
It's on him.
Her. Right?
Yeah. And then, so how long's your trial?
6 months, right? It's 6 months because each little process of court, like opening statements, that's 1 day in court, right?
Yeah.
Each day in court in Serbia is separated by 30 days. So each little step, you go do your thing, come back in a month.
Get a month to wait.
Examination, come back. Cross-examination, come back. Defense examination, come back. Like just boom, boom, boom. It's just a fucking evidence, boom. This evidence, boom. It's horrible. So I get this young judge, and we come in. It's public, so there's like newspapers and shit. But I'd always be there pretty early because I was in prison. Throw me in the fucking paddy wagon, drive me to the courthouse. I'm gonna go to the fucking court, and I would walk in early and sit down. And then she started flirting with me.
No, hey, whatever it takes.
I'm like, yo, what is up? Let's go. This is gonna be good, right? She's like, oh, good morning. And I'm like, oh, dobry jutro, like trying to like put my the stankiest, nastiest Serbian perfect accent on all my Serbian words. She's like, oh wow, your Serbian's great. I'm like, oh, your English is amazing. She's like, hair flips. Like, oh my God, thanks. And then everyone walks in and she like gavels in and she goes like straight face. So I'm like, man, this is actually pretty good. This is good.
It's excellent. Excellent.
Yeah. So court lasts 6 months.
Yes. With 30-day breaks in between.
And then 60-day, because one day I went and they're like, yeah, the interpreter didn't show up. Turn around.
Oh shit.
It's like, God damn, dude.
That's a jip. That's no good. But you make nice with the judge and then it's up to her. So what does she do eventually?
We have a verdict date. So the only day it wasn't 30 days in between sessions in court was like closing statements, and then 7 days after that, verdict. So boom, closing statements, 7 days, come back. All three of the guys stand up. It's like time served, stay on house arrest, whatever your fucking punishment is. And then me, she's like, stand up. And of course, on the most important day, I get the worst translator, right? I'm like, ugh. Right. Judge pretty much reads all the charges and then says in perfect English, well, before this, the interpreter's like, you can go. I'm like, okay, but under what conditions? Because I was for sure going to get 12 years in Mitrovica, which is the big prison, or I thought it was 50-50, or they were going to say guilty, time served, get the fuck out of Serbia.
Whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
And she's like, you're innocent of everything. I'm sorry this happened to you. I hope this didn't put a bad taste in your mouth about Serbia. The state is to pay all of your legal fees, restitution, missed wages, and any damages. I'm like, okay. Yeah, like I know, but this should have happened 17 months ago.
Yes, you could have done this on day one.
Fuck. So like everyone's like, oh, did you celebrate? I'm like, no, you're just frustrated it didn't happen sooner.
Yeah.
You're like, this fucking
so
bullshit.
she legit says you can go now.
Yeah.
Like, so okay, dumb question. What do?
You go back to prison.
Why?
You gotta go get your shit and check out.
Fuck that. Keep it. Give me my rollie.
Yeah, I did that. And my rollie was still there. Thank God. Rollie,
so that
passport.
Dude, that Rolex has been to some shit. Same one.
Yeah.
Well, if you're ever gonna hawk that thing, let me know.
I did replace the face when Jabel shot a dude after we hit him from the helo, and the dude had secondary on him, and he fragged my watch.
That's right. Okay, I think I was there.
Yeah.
That's when we were doing the VIs. That was fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
VIs, I've told people that we've done some shit. I'll have you back on here so we can tell some more stories, but I didn't want to got to get to the book, but
okay.
If you've never hunted a man driving a motorcycle out of a helicopter, I don't want to hear about shooting pigs in Texas. This shit is fucking fun. Anyway, but the book now. So you got out. So sorry, what's the first thing you do when you get out of prison? You got all your shit. What do you do?
Got all my shit. Go back to the immigration police. They're like, your visa expires. You got to get the fuck out of the country. And I said, It's not expired because I've been here fucking unlawfully detained because I didn't do anything. So those months shouldn't count against me. So I should have another 30 days. Right.
Yeah.
And they're like, this motherfucker. And the boss comes in. He's like, how does 7 days sound? I said, I could do 7 days. But I mean, I was already going to leave the next day. Like, I was being a dick. I was so upset. Boom, checked in. Embassy doesn't give a fuck. The
embassy doesn't give a fuck?
They didn't give a fuck the whole time.
What did they say? Did they even visit you?
Yeah, until I told them to stop. They're like, hey, they're try to give you a plea deal and you should take it because if you don't, then it could be longer. And I'm like, what the fuck?
A plea deal for what? I didn't do anything.
Yeah, exactly. So embassy doesn't give a fuck. No one checks up on me. FaceTime mom and dad coming home. Everything's good. Go back to San Diego. Hang out with mom and dad. Mom, dad, and brother. Go to 17, reserve SEAL team. Like, hey, we extended you as much as we could, but we had to let you out. I said, okay, thanks for extending my EOS as long as you could. And they go, here's your RE1, honorable discharge. I said, thank you so much.
Honorable discharge.
And we pulled your trident. I said, what? You pulled my trident, but you gave me an honorable RE1. RE1 means we'd love to have you back.
Yeah. That's like their move too. It's like, we'll pull your trident. I don't give a fuck. Whatever.
Yeah. And I was like, whatever. And you know what?
I was in prison in Serbia, for God's sake. I'm in a gulag, basically.
Yeah. So they're like, well, Eddie Gallagher this. And I'm like, dude, that's all bullshit too. And a whole platoon on the East Coast did drugs. I'm like, that has nothing to do with me. They're like, yeah.
No, it's
the brand. Their brand looks bad.
Brand looks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's like, you're just trying to muster all the bad reputation with bad stories. Like one does not mean the other. That's fucked up that they did that. But
let me end this. No hard feelings. Yeah. We went our separate ways. We did the congressional letter. One of the officers said something really nice. Let's call it irreconcilable differences. Boom. We went separate ways. So cool. We're good. I'm happy with it. Still love the teams. Still love the
Navy.
Yeah.
I just don't like the way some of the senior leadership tries to handle stuff because they get way too political sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things like, I mean, I know you. I got your back, whatever I can do. But when those guys pull that bullshit, my big one was the ethos. It's the SEAL ethos. I'm like, the SEAL ethos isn't worth the paper it's printed on. But, I don't know. We're not that honorable. Nobody.
Yeah, like, what are you talking about, bro?
Did you write this about me? Because I don't
shooting guys on motorcycles out of helicopters. What the fuck are you talking about?
Jesus.
Fucking gangster shit, man.
Yeah, straight murderer.
Fuck.
But whatever. I guess you guys went to the same island and wrote up the ethos. I am that man, and I'm cloaked in apple pie. But no. So the book now is American Mercenary, correct?
Yeah, that is the book.
And how was the approval process? I got my books approved. I would recommend anyone related to the military gets it approved, just so they don't come after you like they can if you're full of shit. But how was the process?
It was good. I was writing a book, for me at least, wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I thought I was going to sit down, get like a whole log of Copenhagen long cut and some Red Bull and just be fucking... And then
I'll send you some Black Buffalo for your next book. That's
okay. Thanks. Sorry, I'm trying to plug against what you got going on. So I do that, and I did the whole book thing. First, I didn't want to write it, and then I got a call again because I thought I'd still be working. And I said, "Fuck it, let's do it." It's a long process, and then you think you're close to the finish line, and then they're like, "No, you got to get it approved." I think we paid a guy, and he hand walks it in, like he's like. And
good.
My approval got done in like 4 months.
I remember that. I remember talking to you through the process, and that was really fast. It was good. They were good to you. They didn't take out a lot.
No, they took out.
But there was stuff they wouldn't let me say. They let you say, and stuff that they let you say they wouldn't let me say.
I guess it's flavor of the week, right? Who's reading it that day?
It's typical government stuff where I'm the most important person in this office, and what I say goes at the specific time. And like they send your book to all the commands that you worked with. I'm pretty sure that mine probably got thrown in the trash in a few places, whatever.
Oh yeah. And I wasn't too worried about that because I didn't really talk specifically in my book too much about no shit there I was. We heloed in XYZ.
Yeah.
It was more after those years.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I've read it. I'm going to read it again with a highlighter for sure. But where can they find it? When's it come out? Where can they find American Mercenary?
American Mercenary, August 20th. Barnes & Nobles, Amazon, Target, Walmart, Books A Million. I think everywhere you can buy a book. Pretty sure.
Okay. Good. I had my first publisher said they didn't have my book in airports because people don't buy books in airports. Not sure what they meant.
That's where I buy 90% of the books. I don't read them.
I know.
I still
and
if
I don't buy them, I just take a picture of them and then I download it later. But then where can people find you on social media?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram at American_mercenary. And I think I have Facebook at true name Daniel Corbett, or it's also at American Mercenary.
Outstanding. So everyone's going to get this book. I'm going to have you on again. We can get into, because obviously now you're, with the book coming out and everything, you don't want to get too political yet. Let everyone read it. Then you can turn into an asshole. It's a lot of fun to do that too.
Yeah.
I like to get on Twitter just to see if I can make people mad, and guess what? You can.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Awesome. Well, Dan, it's been fantastic talking with you. We got to catch up face to face again.
Yeah, man.
When I get out that way, brother, and then we'll, just thanks for the talk. Thanks for coming on the Operator Podcast, and we'll talk soon.
Cool. Thanks for having me, bud.
Absolutely, brother. I mean, wow, huh? Quite a story. One of the youngest guys to check into SEAL Team 6 ever. Been on some really cool missions. The Rolex story kills me. The book is phenomenal, so you got to check it out when you can. Go follow him on social media if you get a chance to meet him face to face. Seriously, just salt of the earth. So yeah, check out American Mercenary for sure. And if you end up in an Eastern Bloc prison, just tell him you're one of the top-notch guys doing the bad shit. You're never out of the fight.